Hey there, my friend. I want to start this lesson with a question. What are you doing with your life right now? Are you growing, learning, becoming better, or are you just passing time waiting for something magical to happen? Many people live like that. They wait. They wait for the right time, the right opportunity, or the perfect moment. But the truth is, there's no perfect time. The perfect time is now. So today's lesson and story is called Don't Waste Your Life. But don't worry, this isn't a sad story. It's an inspiring one. Because today you will not only learn English, you will also learn something powerful about living your best life. Let's begin with a small story. There was once a young man named Daniel. He was smart, funny, and had big dreams. But Daniel had one problem. He always said, tomorrow. He wanted to learn English, but he said, I'll start tomorrow. He wanted to travel, but he said, maybe next year. He wanted to apply for a better job, but he said, when I'm ready. And then, 5 years passed. One day he looked in the mirror and realized nothing had changed. He was still in the same place, doing the same job, living the same life. He whispered to himself, what happened to my dreams? Have you ever felt like Daniel? Have you ever promised yourself that you'll start something soon, but never did? Repeat this after me. Tomorrow doesn't exist. I only have today. Say it again, and I only have today. You see, life doesn't wait for us. Time moves quietly, like water flowing in a river. You can't stop it. You can't slow it down. But you can choose what you do with it. Now let's learn some useful English phrases from this story. Passing time. This means living without doing anything meaningful. The perfect moment. This means waiting for a time when everything feels right. Apply for a job. This means sending your information to ask for a job. Try repeating, I don't want to just pass time. I will not wait for the perfect moment. I will apply for my dreams now. Good, you're doing great. Now let's talk about something deeper. Fear. Sometimes the reason we waste time is not laziness. It's fear. Fear of failing. Fear of being judged. Fear of not being good enough. But here's something important. Everyone feels afraid. Even successful people. The difference is, successful people act despite the fear. Let's take an example from real life. Do you know J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter? Before she became famous, she was rejected by 12 publishers. 12. Most people would have given up, but she didn't. She believed in her story and she kept going. Repeat this. I will keep going. Say it louder. I will keep going. Now imagine this. If she had stopped after the first rejection, the world would never have known Harry Potter, and she would have wasted her talent. So, what about you? What talent do you have? What dream are you hiding because you think you're not ready? Remember, you don't need to be ready to begin. You become ready by beginning. Let's practice some vocabulary. Rejection. When someone says no to your request or idea. Talent. Something you are naturally good at. Begin. To start doing something. Now repeat, I am not afraid of rejection. I have talent. I will begin today. Excellent. You're not just learning English right now. You're training your mind. You're learning to think differently. Here's a small exercise for you. After this lesson, take a notebook and write down 3 things you've always wanted to do. Then next to each one, write a small first step you can take today. Not tomorrow, today. Can be something simple. If you want to learn English, maybe your first step is watching this video every day. If you want to get fit, maybe your first step is going for a 10-minute walk. If you want to start a new project, maybe your first step is writing one idea on paper. Small steps lead to big changes. Repeat this. Small steps lead to big changes. Now, let's imagine you take those small steps every day. You practice English a little each morning. You read one motivational story before bed. You speak to one new person each week. After 1 month, you'll notice progress. After 6 months, people will notice your progress. After 1 year, your life will look completely different. But remember, none of this will happen if you don't start. Let's return to Daniel, the man from our story. One day something happened that changed his life. He met his old school friend Sarah. Sarah used to be shy and quiet, but now she spoke confidently in English and worked for an international company. Daniel was surprised. He asked, "But how did you do it?" Sarah smiled and said, "I just started. I practiced every day, even when I was tired. I stopped saying tomorrow." That night Daniel couldn't sleep. He realized something. He had wasted enough time. So the next morning he woke up early, opened his notebook, and wrote 3 words. Start from today. That's how change begins, and not with a big plan, but with a simple decision. Now, I want you to do what Daniel did. Say it out loud. Start from today. Again, stronger. Start from today. Doesn't that feel powerful? That's your first step. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing. Willing to learn. Willing to improve. Willing to take action. Repeat this final sentence for today's section. I choose to live fully. I will not waste my life. Beautiful. You've completed section 1 of this motivational English lesson. You've learned new words, practiced pronunciation, and strengthened your mindset. So you said to yourself, start from today. Good, that's where real change begins, not in the future. Not in your imagination, but right here, right now, today. I want to tell you something important. You don't need to be extraordinary to live an extraordinary life. You just need to be intentional. To live with intention means to live with purpose. To know why you are doing what you are doing. Too many people live without that. They wake up, check their phones, scroll through social media, go to work or school, and then come home feeling empty. They're busy but not fulfilled. Let's practice the word fulfilled. It means feeling satisfied and happy because you're doing something meaningful. Repeat after me. I want to live a fulfilled life. I want to do something that matters. Good, now let's go deeper. There was a woman named Aisha. She worked in a small shop in her town. Every day looked the same. Same job, same people, same routine. She often told herself, my life will change one day. But that day never came. Until one morning she met a traveler from another country. He came to buy something and spoke English fluently. Aisha admired him. She wished she could talk more confidently, but she was shy. She only said, thank you. Please come again. The traveler smiled and said, your English is good. Those simple words changed something inside her. That night, she looked at herself in the mirror and said, if I learn English, my world will become bigger. From that day, she practiced every night for 15 minutes. Sometimes she was tired, sometimes she made mistakes, but she didn't stop. After 1 year, she could speak English clearly and confidently. 2 years later, she got a job at a travel agency helping foreign tourists. And 3 years later, she opened her own small travel business. It all started with one small decision. Now, here's your turn to practice. Repeat these sentences slowly and clearly. I can change my life. I can learn something new. I will start with one small step. Perfect, you see. Many people believe they need motivation before they act. But that's not true. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Think of it like this. When you start walking, your body becomes warm. When you start studying, your brain becomes interested. When you start practicing English, your confidence grows. So, if you're waiting to feel ready, stop waiting. Just begin. Let's learn some vocabulary from this story. Routine, things you do every day in the same way. Fluent, able to speak smoothly and easily. Confidence in the feeling that you can do something well. Now, repeat these sentences for practice. My routine will not control me. I will become fluent in English. I believe in my confidence. Nice work. Now let's talk about another common problem. Comparison. Maybe you look at others and think, they are better than me. You see someone speak English perfectly and you feel small. You see someone succeed in life and you feel behind. But listen carefully. You are not behind. You are on your own path. Everyone has a different story, a different speed, a different season of growth. A flower doesn't worry about the flower next to it, just blooms when it's ready. And so will you. Repeat after me. I am on my own journey. I will bloom in my own time. Beautiful. Let's take a small pause here. Breathe in deeply. Now breathe out. When you breathe, you remind yourself, you're alive, you have time, and you can still choose your direction. Now let's make this more interactive. I want to ask you a few questions. You can answer them out loud in English or write them in your notebook. What do you want your life to look like 1 year from now? What kind of person do you want to become? And what habits will help you get there? Maybe you'll say, I want to be confident in English. I want to have a healthy routine. I want to wake up early and use my time wisely. Good answers. Let's learn a few phrases that help you talk about habits. Wake up early. Use time wisely. Practice every day. Now repeat, I wake up early. I use my time wisely. I practice every day. These simple sentences may sound small, but they are powerful. They help you train your mind to believe in positive habits. Here's a small truth. Your life becomes whatever you practice daily. If you practice complaining, you become negative. So let's practice gratitude now. Repeat after me. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for the chance to learn. I am grateful for every new day. See? You're already growing. Now I want to share a short story about time. One day, a teacher entered a classroom with a glass jar. He placed large rocks in the jar until it was full. Then he asked the students, is it full? They said yes. Then he took some small pebbles and poured them in. The pebbles filled the spaces between the rocks. He asked again, now is it full? The students laughed and said, maybe not. Then he took sand and poured it in. The sand filled every little space. He smiled and said, now it's full. Finally, he said, these rocks represent the most important things in life. Your family, your dreams, your health, your purpose. If you fill your jar with sand first, the small, unimportant things, you won't have space for what truly matters. So, my friend, ask yourself, what are your big rocks? What are the things that really matter to you? Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's learning English. Maybe it's becoming the person you want to be. Don't fill your life with sand, with distractions, gossip, or endless scrolling. Choose what matters most. Repeat after me. I focus on what matters. I protect my time. I fill my life with purpose. That's it. You're doing amazing. Now let's connect this lesson back to English learning. Learning a language is not only about memorizing grammar or vocabulary. It's about changing your mindset. It's about building habits that keep you consistent. Every time you watch a lesson like this, every time you repeat sentences, every time you listen carefully, you are growing. You may not see progress every day, but it's happening quietly, like seeds growing under the soil. So don't give up. even when it feels slow, even when you make mistakes. Keep going. Repeat this last part with energy. I am improving every day. I am patient with my progress. I will not give up. Wonderful. Remember Aisha, the woman from the story? She didn't learn English overnight. She grew little by little because she decided not to waste her life waiting for the perfect time. She created her own time, and you can too, because every moment you use wisely becomes a piece of your future success. So far, you've learned that every small step matters, that fear can't stop you, and that time is precious. Now let's go even deeper. Let's talk about purpose. Have you ever asked yourself, why am I here? Not just on Earth, but here in this moment. Watching this video, learning this language, listening to these words. Maybe you think it's just to improve your English. But what if it's something more? Maybe learning English is your doorway to a bigger life. A way to connect with people around the world. To understand new ideas, to build confidence, or to share your story. Let me tell you something powerful. Every person has a purpose, and that includes you. You might not know what it is yet, but it's there. Like a small light deep inside you waiting to shine. When you start doing things that make you grow, that light becomes brighter. Repeat after me. I have a purpose. My light will shine. I am becoming who I am meant to be. Excellent. Now let's meet someone whose story will show you what purpose really means. There was a man named Carlos. He lived in a small city in Brazil. He worked in a coffee shop, serving customers and cleaning tables. Every day he watched tourists come and go. He noticed that people who spoke English always had opportunities. They got better jobs, traveled freely, and met new people. Carlos wanted that too. But he thought, I'm too old to learn. He was 35, tired after long working hours and didn't know where to begin. Then one day, an old customer, a kind woman from Canada, asked him, "Why don't you practice English with me while I have my coffee?" At first he laughed and said, "My English is terrible." She smiled and said, "That's why we'll practice." So every morning for 10 minutes they practiced simple English. At first he made many mistakes, but each time she told him, "Don't worry, keep going." After 6 months, Carlos could hold a conversation. After 1 year, he started helping other workers learn English. And 2 years later, he became the manager of the coffee shop because he could communicate with international customers. Carlos learned something important. It's never too late to start, and no effort is ever wasted. Repeat after me. It's never too late. No effort is wasted. I keep going, even when it's hard. Beautiful. Now let's talk about this word, commitment. Commitment means staying true to what you said you would do, long after the excitement has gone. It's easy to start something when you're motivated. But what about when you're tired, busy, or bored? That's when commitment becomes your best friend. If you want to improve your English, you don't need to study for hours. You just need to stay consistent. 15 minutes a day is better than 2 hours once a month. Repeat, I am consistent. I stay committed to my goals. I do something small every day. That's right. Small steps make strong results. Let's take a short moment to think about your habits. What small things could you do each day to make your English learning and your life better? Maybe listen to an English podcast while walking. Write 1 sentence in English before bed. Speak to yourself in English in the mirror every morning. Every time you do something like that, you are sending a message to yourself. I respect my dreams. Now, let's talk about something that steals dreams, distractions. We live in a noisy world. Your phone keeps buzzing. Social media keeps showing other people's lives, and suddenly, you realize you've spent 2 hours scrolling instead of improving yourself. Don't feel guilty. It happens to everyone. But you can change it. You can control your attention. Repeat this after me. My attention is valuable. I focus on my goals. I control my time. Good. Try this small challenge. Tomorrow, before you touch your phone, spend 10 minutes learning something new in English. Just 10 minutes. Listen, read, or write. Do that every morning for 1 week, and you'll feel the difference. You'll feel proud, focused, and alive. Because when you choose growth over distraction, your life starts to change quietly, almost magically. Now, let's learn some new words from this part. Commitment, staying loyal to your decision. Consistent, doing something regularly without giving up. Distraction, something that stops you from focusing. Repeat for practice. Commitment keeps me moving. I am consistent every day. I avoid distractions. Great job. Now let's pause for a small reflection. Think about the people you admire. Maybe someone famous or someone in your family. What do they all have in common? It's not luck. It's discipline, passion, and the courage to keep going even when things are tough. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They created their own opportunities, and so can you. Remember this truth. When you waste time, you waste potential. But when you use your time wisely, you create possibilities. Repeat. I use my time wisely. I create possibilities. I live with purpose. You're doing so well. You're not just learning English. You're learning the language of life. Now let's talk about another idea. Self-respect. When you respect yourself, you don't settle for less than you deserve. You don't waste your time on things or people who don't help you grow. You speak kindly to yourself. You give your best even when no one is watching. Repeat this slowly. I respect myself. I speak kindly to myself. I give my best every day. That's powerful, isn't it? When you talk to yourself with kindness, your confidence grows. When you tell yourself I can, your brain starts believing it. And when you believe, you act. Let's test it. Say this with feeling. I can learn English. I can live with purpose. I can make my dreams real. Yes. You sound stronger already. Now let me tell you a secret. People who live with passion don't have more time than others. They just choose how to use it better. They don't waste hours complaining or worrying. They take action. So today, ask yourself, what can I do right now to move closer to my goal? Maybe it's repeating today's lesson one more time. Maybe it's writing down 3 sentences from this video and practicing them aloud. Maybe it's sharing this motivation with someone else who needs it. Whatever it is, do it. Don't just think about it. Repeat this. I take action today. I don't just dream, I do. I am responsible for my life. Perfect. Let's go back to our friend Carlos for a moment. When people asked him how he managed to change his life, he said something simple. I stopped saying I can't and I started saying I can try. That's it. That's the magic phrase. I can try. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to try. Repeat it now. I can try. Say it again with strength. I can try. Because every time you try, you grow. Every time you try, you build experience, courage, and wisdom. Remember, success isn't one big jump. It's a collection of small, brave steps. And you've already taken many of those steps today. You've learned new words, repeated powerful affirmations, and trained your mind to focus on growth. That's something to be proud of. So before we move to the next section, repeat this one last message. I will not waste my life. I will use my time wisely. I am creating a better future for myself. You've done amazing work today. You've come so far, my friend. You've repeated the words, felt the energy, and learned through stories. Now it's time to take everything you've learned and turn it into a new way of living. You see, the message, "Don't waste your life," is not about fear. It's not about feeling guilty for what you haven't done. It's about freedom. The freedom to start again. The freedom to change direction. The freedom to say, "From today, I will live with purpose." Repeat after me. I am free to start again. I am free to choose my direction. I live with purpose. Good. Now let's imagine something together. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. You see yourself, not who you were in the past, not your mistakes, not your regrets. You see who you can become. Confident, strong, peaceful, and proud. You smile because you know you're on the right path now. That's the power of awareness. When you realize that your time is valuable, your whole life begins to change. Let's take one more story. The story of Maya. Maya always wanted to be an English teacher. She loved helping people and dreamed of teaching students from different countries. But she never believed in herself. She said things like, "My English isn't perfect," or "I'm not smart enough." One day her friend asked, "Why don't you start teaching online? You can help beginners." Maya laughed and said, "Me? A teacher? I'm not ready." But her friend looked at her and said, "You'll never feel ready. Just begin." So she did. Her first video had only 10 views. Her second one had 15. But she didn't stop. She kept practicing, improving, and learning. After 1 year, her channel grew, and she began teaching students from around the world. And one day she received a message that made her cry. A student from another country wrote, "Because of your videos, I passed my English exam. Thank you for believing in us." In that moment, Maya realized something beautiful. When you use your time to help others, your life becomes meaningful. Repeat after me, "My life has meaning. I will use my time to grow and to help others." Beautiful. Now, let's talk about something very important. Regret. Regret is one of the heaviest feelings in life. People who waste years doing nothing often say later, "I wish I had started earlier." But remember this truth: it's never too late to start again. What's gone is gone, but what's ahead is still yours to create. Repeat, it's never too late. My future starts now. I will make my time count. Yes, that's the energy we need. Let's talk about time in another way. Think of your life as a book. Some chapters are happy, some are sad, some are boring, and some are full of surprises. But no matter how many chapters have passed, you can still write the next one. You are the author of your story, and you can decide what happens next. Repeat after me. I am the author of my story. I will write a powerful next chapter. My story is not over. Good. Now, I want to ask you something personal. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Do you check your phone and scroll through endless posts? Or do you take a quiet moment to breathe, stretch, and think about your goals? The way you start your morning often decides how your whole day will go. So try this. Tomorrow morning, before you look at your phone, say this to yourself in English: "Today is a gift. I will use it wisely." Say it again now. Today is a gift. I will use it wisely. Feel that power in your voice. That's the sound of awareness. Now let's connect everything to English learning once more. When you learn English, you're not only learning a language, you're learning discipline, confidence, and connection. Each new word is a key that opens new doors. A door to better communication, to new friendships, to opportunities that you can't even imagine yet. So, don't say, "I'm just learning English." Say, "I'm building my future." Repeat, "I'm building my future." English is my tool for success. I am proud of my progress. Exactly. Now, let's take a moment to think about all you've achieved so far. You've learned stories about Daniel, Aisha, Carlos, and Maya. Each of them changed their life not because they were special, but because they made a decision. They stopped waiting. They stopped doubting. They started acting. And now it's your turn. Repeat this with power and emotion. I will not waste my life. I will use every day to grow. I am becoming my best self. That's the spirit. Now, let's practice a few phrases to strengthen your mindset and your English at the same time. Say each one clearly. I choose growth over comfort. I learn something new every day. I am stronger than my excuses. I believe in my dreams. I take action with confidence. Excellent. Now, imagine your future self. Maybe 5 years from now. You're fluent in English. You have more confidence, more peace, and more opportunities. You look back and smile because you didn't waste your life. You used every moment to become the person you wanted to be. That version of you is real, waiting to be created by the choices you make today. So what will you choose? Will you waste another day scrolling, doubting, and waiting? Or will you decide right now to start your new chapter? Repeat one last time. I start my new chapter today. I am ready for change. I am proud of myself. Let me tell you something from the heart. You are already doing better than you think. You are learning, improving, and growing. Every time you say a new word in English, every time you listen carefully, every time you take notes, you are investing in yourself. And that investment will never be wasted because life rewards those who use their time wisely. It gives new chances to those who keep trying. It opens doors for those who refuse to quit. So keep learning, keep speaking, keep believing, and keep shining your light, because the world needs what you have. Let's close this journey with a few final affirmations. Say them slowly with confidence and emotion. I am grateful for my life. I live with purpose and passion. I use my time wisely. I am becoming the best version of myself. I will not waste my life. Now take a deep breath. Inhale possibility. Exhale doubt. You did it. You finished this lesson, and more importantly, you proved to yourself that you can stay consistent and grow stronger. So from this moment on, promise yourself something simple but powerful. That you will live intentionally, speak courageously, and never let time pass you by unnoticed. Your life is too valuable to waste. Your dreams are too big to ignore, and your heart is strong enough to guide you every step of the way. Keep going, keep learning, keep living fully because this is your time, and it begins right now.